Now, drawing graphics is one thing, but being able to modify the graphics is quite another. So in this video, I'm going to quickly show you some basics on how to do things like copying, mirroring, and how to create text into outlines. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a unique shape. Let's just draw a nice basic triangle here. Oh, and I've got the pattern fill. Well, let's do something a little more boring. Let's do hot pink. Woo! Hot pink, yeah! Let's say that I want to create a copy of this object. So all you have to do, there's actually two ways that you can do this. You can click on the object and on your keyboard do a Control C and a Control V. That will essentially clone the object and it's right there. You'll also see in the Layers panel that it created another copy. So remember that a layer is an object, and you kind of have to think about it as it's on a clear or transparent sheet of paper. So it's something that you can arrange on top of each other. And that's basically what the Layers panel is. It's a stack of papers. And whatever's on top is on top, and whatever's on bottom is on bottom. All right, so the second way to create a copy is to highlight the object that you're wanting to copy over here in the Layers panel, and then you go up to this little 3-bar button located in the top right hand corner of the floating palette and click Duplicate Path. And what you'll see happen is, yes, we do have a third one, but you don't see 3 here, and that's because doing this method, for whatever reason, decides to put your clone on top of the original thing that you tried to copy. So just simply move the new object over, and then you'll see that it's highlighted over here, which means it's selected, and now we have 3 objects. Now what happens if I want to mirror this object? So the best place to go to is Object and Transform. This is where you can go to rotate objects, reflect them, to scale them, to do a lot of different things. So one of my favorite things to do is to reflect. So let's go to Reflect. And what's great about this is that it has a horizontal and a vertical area. So do you want to flip it up and down or left and right? The other thing that's nice is that there's this preview button right here, and if you check it, it'll automatically preview what that object is going to do before you hit OK. You can also hit copy, but I always just kind of make a copy previously and then hit OK. So that's just my habit that I got into, but maybe your habit is to come here before you make a copy, hit copy, and then OK. So, so you can do it all in one stop shop sort of thing. You can also decide to do this in an angle, and let's see if I can get it to work. There we go. So sometimes it doesn't always preview and you gotta check it and uncheck it. So that's just a little tip for me to you. But yes, you can use this little bar right here in the circle to rotate or flip this as you see fit. Oh, see, there it went to preview. So sometimes you gotta do it this way. So if I want to do a vertical flip, that's what I need it at 90 degrees. Everything's looking good. Just hit OK, and there it is. You can rotate an object 2 ways. So highlight the object, and then if you put your mouse in the corner and kind of hover over this little selection box corner, you'll see that you get a double-sided arrow as your cursor. That indicates that you can now free transform, and there you can rotate the object as you see fit. Holding Shift will allow you to rotate perfectly up and down or left and right as you need to. Hey, that looks like a nice K right there. So if you got a K in your name, that could be kind of a cool logo. The other way to do it is to grab this object and come back up to Transform and hit Rotate. And this is where you can actually give it a specific degree if you want to. Free Rotate, you're kind of doing it by hand. But this one will allow you to rotate it as you see fit. I'll do another 90 degrees, and there I'm back again. So if I grab this and go back up to Transform again, scale is really great. If you want to make it double the size, you would do a 200% scaling. If you want to scale it horizontally but not vertically, you can do the non-uniform. I'm not sure what the scale corners or strokes and effects are, but I think that just means like if you're going to scale something and you have a stroke that's at one point, that it will scale with the shape, whereas normally if you scale it, it stays at one point no matter how big or small that you actually make the shape. So I think that's what some of those options are right there. But that's how you can double the size. Half the size would be 50%, obviously. You can kind of take it from there. I'm just going to hit cancel. Now there's also a move command, which, the black arrow will move your object for you, but if you have a specific distance that you need this object to be on your sheet of paper, go ahead and type all that information in. You can even tell it like what angle you want it to go. The other thing that I wanted to show you was this arrange, so I'm going to actually have to highlight an object before I can show it to you. Arrange is your order of operations, and it's linked to your layers panel. So if you bring an object to the front, it means that it's standing on top of all the other objects. Now that's the same thing that happens over in the layers panel. Remember I just told you, like whatever's on top of the layers? Right now I have this shape highlighted, and it's right here highlighted in blue. So if I say bring to front, now all of a sudden you see that it is actually moved to the top of the layer panel. You can do it either way, through the layers panel, or come to arrange and do it this way. Alright, the last thing I wanted to show you was pretty basic. I'm just going to hit delete on those, is how to take text and turn it into objects that you can manipulate a little bit more. So I'm going to grab the type tool, and I already have a pre-selected font that I wanted to use, so I am just going to type green cat. And right now the only way that I can really change this is to just highlight the words and change the color or do whatever I want with, right? Which that's fine. Definitely doable, but maybe I want to make letters scaled larger, or maybe I want to flip a letter or something like that. This technique is going to help you kind of manipulate type a little bit more. So I'm going to grab the text, I'm going to go to type, and I'm going to choose create outlines. And it doesn't look like a whole awful lot changed. However, if I zoom in a little bit, I'm going to use a magnifying glass to kind of zoom in. You'll see that now the letters have anchor points or little grip marks. And I can use the white arrow if I wanted to, and I could maybe even like change what the G looks like if I wanted to. So maybe I want it to look like a cat or something. Ooh, that's kind of cool. So I can actually manipulate the shapes, whereas before there's no way that I could do that because it was tied to a specific font. What I also want you to notice is over in the layers, when you create outlines of text, it groups them together. So if I click on this little arrow right next to group, you'll see each individual letter, and I can highlight them one at a time if I want to, so that I can then make the necessary changes that I feel like I need to. Now you can always ungroup, and all you have to do is grab the group right here, and you think you actually have to select the group too. So highlight and select, come over to object and hit ungroup. And now you can see that the group layer is gone, but the letters remained. So now they're all individuals. So if I want to flip the C, I just come to transform or reflect, and there it's previewed it, and I can hit OK, and there I've got a backward C if I want it. So being able to manipulate the objects that you draw is probably going to be a pretty important way to enhance the what do I call the complexity, the diversity of the graphics that you're doing. Thinking outside of the box a little bit is always really good to do with logos. Being creative, being imaginative, trying to do something different. I mean, a logo is supposed to highlight you and separate you from your competition. So find interesting, fun ways to play with text, to play with graphics, and These methods will help you do that quickly and efficiently, which is also super important when you've got deadlines that you're trying to meet, right? So that's how you can do some basic modifications in Illustrator.